I was very nervous about doing this, but I just decided I would bite the bullet, and I told Gareth that I would go for it, and now here I am. So this morning what I want to talk about is finding the positives. I'm just going to see if I can click off the comments because they're all popping up on my screen. There we go. And I'm going to talk to you guys from Romans. So we're going to be in chapter 8, and I'm going to read from 26 to 30. Okay, so I've got the CBS version, so it might be a little different, but I just love the translation. Okay. In the same way, the Spirit also helps us in our weakness, because we do not know what to pray for as we should, but the Spirit helps intercede for us with unspoken groanings. And he who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because he intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. We know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. For those he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, so that he would be firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those he predestined, he also called, and those he called, he also justified, and those he justified, he also glorified. Now, in my Bible, this section is titled From Groans to Glory. And I just love that. If I have learnt anything from this time we're in, it's that no matter what we do, there will be nothing that can help turn our suffering into joy as powerfully as turning to Jesus with it all can. Which is why I think my Bible version, titling this part From Groans to Glory, is so great. If we go back and look at verse 18, it says, For I consider that the suffering of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is going to be revealed to us. I think sometimes it's about refocusing our perspective. When we consider how awesome God is, it's kind of hard to be stuck in a cycle of suffering. I know for many of us in this current time, suffering looks like a lot of different things. From financial worries to health fears, or if you're anything like me, it's anxiety of living in such uncertainty. I'm currently praying I can still get married in July and find a house for us to live in. But whatever it is, God's not expecting us to carry the load. In fact, it says in verse 21 that he wants us, his children, to experience glorious freedom. I don't know about you, but I could do with some glorious freedom. Now, I don't have all the answers, and I'm not claiming to, and I'm definitely not saying we shouldn't have human emotions. But I would like to encourage you with something that's helping me at the moment, and that's using one of the verses I read at the beginning. It's verse 28. I'm just going to read it again. We know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. And the reason I find this so helpful is because it makes me refocus. It changes my perspective. Because if it says he works all things together for our good, then the good must be there. But sometimes we have to search a bit harder for it. For example, we need to search through the negativity in our current media outlets and see things like lower pollution levels across the world due to lockdowns, or the fact that we're really appreciating our key workers, some of which we considered before this unimportant. Or how about communities and generations coming together? I saw a thing in the news the other day where a girl who worked in a care home bought a pillow with this man in her care home, a pillow with his wife's picture on it, because he slept with a picture every night. And I just was so encouraged. She didn't have to do that, but in this time, generations are coming together. we're also seeing people who once rejected the Christian faith live out the fruits of the Spirit, whether they know it or not. I personally don't believe positives coming out of a global pandemic can happen without an almighty, loving God. A God who tells us through his word that he will work all things together for the good of those who love him. I'd love to encourage you right now just to stop and thank God for every positive thing you see. And also, as we've been reminded a few times, to trust that even though we don't see it, he is working. I really believe that somehow, in ways we don't understand right now, God is using our present circumstances to work good things in us as well as around us. Maybe he's working on character issues in us, helping us be more like Jesus. Maybe he's helping us to trust him more. I know he's definitely doing that with me. Or to pray more passionately. We've got time, why don't we use it? Whatever it is, we can be sure that he is and wants to be at work in us. Philippians 2 verse 13 says, "For it is God who is working in you, both to the will and work according to his good purpose." Both these verses say good, and I want us to really think today about what that good is. We have to remember that we are his precious children, and that he is a loving Father who wants the best for us, no matter the circumstances we're facing. So this morning, I'd love it if you could share your positive moments, your God moments in the comments so that we can lift each other up. I just really feel like I want to read that section of those verses again in Romans, just so that we can really think about it and hold on to it today. And I can't wait to see what people's positive moments and God moments are during this time. So I'm just going to read it again. So from 26. "In the same way, the Spirit also helps us in our weakness, because we do not know what to pray for as we should, but the Spirit himself intercedes for us with unspoken groanings. And he who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because he intercedes for the saints according to the will of God. We know that all things work together for the good of those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. For those he foreknew, he also predestined to be conformed to the image of his Son, so that he would be firstborn among many brothers and sisters. And those he predestined, he also called. And those he called, he also justified. And those he justified, he also glorified." Also, I want to remind us of verse 18. And I just want, if you want, just close your eyes and say amen at the end, because I think this is also a declaration. "For I consider that the sufferings of this present time are not worth comparing with the glory that is going to be revealed to us." I'm just going to pray to close. Yeah, Heavenly Father, I thank you that even in our sufferings, whatever our sufferings may look like, there is good. I thank you that we just have to go outside and look at your creation to see the good. I thank you that even when we don't see it, that you are always working. I pray that as we go today, Lord Jesus, that you would help us fix our eyes on your positives and help us And Lord Jesus, I pray that as you're working in us, you would just help us draw closer to you. I thank you that we can use this extra time that we have, extra time with family members and people we live with, to just talk about you and share about the glory of you, Lord Jesus. I pray you come and be with us now as we go this morning. And just be with us, Lord Jesus. Amen.